Full name is Paul, Paul, Randall, Randall. It's an old-time English name. I was born in Paducah, Kentucky on May 7th, 1917, which makes me 96 now. And believe me, in the old days, when you're from Kentucky, you ain't much. When it come time to join the troops and learn to fly airplanes, I could do that and be glad about it. Well, I finally graduated to being a captain. I didn't earn it because I flew missions and dropped bombs. I learned to do all that, and I'm proud to say I went through the whole program of being a pilot and serving as a pilot. I flew 65 missions, and I never scratched an airplane. I never wrecked an airplane. I never got lost with the airplane. I landed at the wrong airport one time, but I'm not proud of that, and it doesn't matter anyway. Well, there's a couple hundred others, so you're not such an important item. Just go do your work, and when you get through, they'll send you home. And that is exactly what they did. The Duke of Paducah is named after a musical group about the wartime when they were traveling around singing funny songs and calling it patriotism. But the Duke of Paducah was that person who did crazy things as far as I could see, and got his name in the magazines, and he was the Duke of Paducah just because he was from Paducah. That's what they kept telling me. I never saw him, but he was such a person. Well, if anybody would sit up just to cheer Harry Truman, I sure would. He got me promoted out of being a first lieutenant to promoted to be a captain, and wow, that's the most important thing I was ever a part of. But that's Harry Truman, a great man. Well, that was very interesting, and I asked for it simply because I got fed up with being a pilot in training and never even seeing an airplane. They don't even tell you about airplanes, but they tell you about being disciplined and polite, military, a lot of things. You're just waiting until you get to the part of pilot training where you actually get marched out to the airplane and they start tell you all about this airplane, a Douglas A-20. And that's what I went to combat in after you had the right amount of day flying and night flying. And from then on, it's very serious. And I flew with airplanes on both sides of me. And even from France, I flew good formation. We even had night flying formation. Now, there's something that scares you to death, but we had formation flying at night, and had to stay close and stay spaced away. And, well, it didn't crash, you can tell, because here I am. Everything was formation until you get your whole 65 missions in that one airplane, and I helped with the D-Day.
Now the rocket ships opened up, smashing at underwater obstacles and coastal mines, over the heads of the first wave of assault troops, firing their massed salvos with close precision until the troops were 300 yards from the beaches. The fury from the air went on and on. Our airmen in tactical support of the ground forces took no rest that day. Back from one sortie, they gassed up, loaded their bombs and ammunition belts, and grimly went out again and again.
Air superiority makes possible this daylight operation.
I flew missions on D-Day, morning and afternoon, and saw to it that most of my stuff that you live with, we took to France, and you were already assigned to a mission over there, and a couple of days later, you're out beating the bushes and flying your missions, and we're hoping you survive, because the more missions you have, the more you think, boy, I'm this far and I'm still alive. Well, D-Day was unchanged. You had to do exactly as you were told, and we get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and by 7 o'clock you have eaten breakfast and down on the flight line, and you stand there and pace and walk up and down, and then run for your airplane, because you've got a mission dropping a bomb or two on the D-Day landing strip on up ahead toward the center part of France. I flew missions while they were still fighting on the dunes and the up and down of the sand dunes and everything. The last 5 missions, I'm grateful for the last 5 missions. I flew 5 missions in 3 days, dropping bombs on the head of the Battle of the Bulge men. I have since met a couple of those fellows. One man told me for sure that he knows that he was on the ground, feeling the pressures of the ground when I was flying, and on that 2 days before Christmas. That was my gift to him. Get him over there, drop the bombs, get him back home. Lots of shooting all the way around me, and I got finished. And when I come back on the last mission, there's lots of cheering going on. That's an A-20. It's an attack bomber, and every flight had 3,000 pounds, and we'd go in there in flights of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, maybe 18 airplanes, all hauling 3,000 pounds of bombs. That was the end of my real work, and never flew one again. There was only 1 or 2 that came back from overseas. Douglas made 7,800 of those airplanes. And, there's not even one that could fly right now. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. You couldn't hear them with all the noise that your airplane makes. And if you could hear them, you'd put headsets on so you get your instructions from your ground forces or your other pilot leaders. Because I wasn't a leader, I had to have a leader to fly formation with. You fly over from the center part of England, straight down, never over London, around London, and we get in good formation and fly right down over the tops of all the soldiers and the boats down there. I flew formation a few times against the rules, but I'd fly up to the B-17, shut off one engine, and wave to the crew in there, and then peel off and vanish. B-25. That's what I went to school for. That's why I barely missed going to his school, because he chose his crews from the school that I went to. And they didn't choose me and a half a dozen others, because there was only 5 or 6 in the whole school that graduated in twin engine training like that. It was very realistic, that B-25 school, because we did a lot of things there that you wasn't supposed to do when you're flying bombs and all that. Everything pointed to get these pilots over there so they can drop the bombs. And the scary part is formation flying at night, and I made all that. So I guess I was a success, and maybe that is part of my good health now. I'm still drawing a deep breath, being thankful. One of those missions from France, with the base up north of London, one of those missions, and I'll never know why or how it worked that way, but I had blinking lights giving me a gas or quantity on the panel. When that blinking red light shows, that shows that you're about to run out of gas. If you stay with it and don't do anything about it, just keep on flying and hoping you made it back to England, the blinking light was a warning, but the solid red light was the end of the road. That's you're about to run out of gas. You will run out of gas, no doubt about it, sometime, because that's what that red light is for on there. And my leader said, "Good luck, Randall. You'll need it." So I'm thinking, yes, sir. But what am I going to do? Ditch it in the Thames River, or try and get home with that? And I decided my end of my career might be right here, but anyway, I'm aiming at that one concrete strip on the English side of the English Channel, and I could see it after I broke out underneath the clouds, almost waves high. It was splashing, and I was flying with red lights on the airplane instrument board, flying toward a solid concrete strip of concrete made there by the English for people just like me that have bad time with trying to make it home with no gas. But the best noise that airplane ever made was when the wheels hit the concrete and it started rolling down the concrete. And guess what? It was out of gas. It went chug, 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 and stopped on the runway. And that was the most important thing, because if I had been flying 10 seconds longer, I'd have hit the dirt and cartwheel over, and the whole thing. I suppose all 3 of us would be dead. But we jumped out and kissed the ground, and we made it. We absolutely made it, and it's something that you will never forget if you live to be 1,000. We made it back to England, back to Essex that night, and got out, and nobody seemed to care a thing about it, but the people that really knew what's going on. Randall, you had a close call. I was given the Flying Cross. I was given the Occupation Award for being stationed in France and England. I never shed a drop of blood. I was scared to death many times. Emerged and get out of the way. Well, Randall, you can go home now. Just the bus will leave in the morning, and get all your stuff packed up. because you're all done, you know. Yes, sir. And First Lieutenant Paul Randall. My enlistment as a pilot and everything in the reserves all came to a focus and ran out the weekend that Martin Luther King was shot, and there wasn't much of anything except it's a day on the calendar, and watch your mail. You might be expected to do this and that and haul somebody or something, but it was anticlimaxing. It was a day on the calendar, and my work, you might say, was done. Except you're supposed to go to formations that is part of your veterans' obligations. You're not done. You're not done till you're dead.